Your life path number reveals more than a label. It points to the pattern underneath your choices, your gifts, your lessons, and why your life keeps asking the same sacred questions. If you are new to numerology, or even a little skeptical, I want to begin in a grounded way. Your life path number is not here to flatten you into a stereotype. It is a symbolic tool, one that helps you notice your natural rhythm, your recurring challenges, and the kind of growth your soul seems to return to again and again. I see it as a mirror, not a sentence, a compass, not a cage. And by the end of this reading, you will know how to calculate your number, what each number means, and how to listen for the deeper truth inside your own path. Let's calculate it together. Start with your full birth date, month, day, and year. Then reduce each part separately. So if someone was born on July 14th, 1992, you would reduce the month first. July is 7, so that stays 7. Then the day, 14 becomes 1 plus 4, which is 5. Then the year, 1992 becomes 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 2, which equals 21. And then 2 plus 1 becomes 3. Now you have 3 pieces, 7, 5, and 3. And that is the part people often overcomplicate. You only need one number from each part of the date: month, day, year. Reduce them cleanly one by one and then bring them together. Now add those reduced parts. In our example, 7 plus 5 plus 3 equals 15. Then reduce again, 1 plus 5 equals 6. That would make the life path number 6. But there is one important exception. If your final total becomes 11, 22, or 33, you do not reduce it further. Those are called master numbers. So 11 stays 11, 22 stays 22, 33 stays 33. Everything else reduces to a single digit. That is the whole method. Simple, elegant, complete. Once you have your number, tell me in the comments. I always love seeing the energy gather there. It becomes its own little constellation. 1s finding 2s, 7s recognizing 7s, 11s quietly confirming what they have always felt. Here is the screenshot version. Reduce the month. Reduce the day. Reduce the year. Add the 3 results. Then reduce the total unless it becomes 11, 22, or 33. Keep that saved if you want a quick reference later. So now the real question begins. What does your number actually mean? This is where numerology becomes personal. Because each life path number carries a core drive, a set of strengths, a shadow side, and a life lesson. In other words, what moves you, what comes naturally, what can trip you up, and what your soul is here to learn through lived experience. We begin with 1. Life path 1 is the initiator, the spark, the one who feels the inner push to begin, to lead, to move first. If this is your number, you are often learning through independence. You may feel most alive when you are creating your own direction instead of following someone else's script. Your strength is courage, originality, self-trust. You can walk into an empty space and imagine what belongs there. But the shadow of 1 is isolation, impatience, and the belief that you must do everything alone. Your lesson is not just leadership. It is leadership without hardening, confidence without defensiveness, power without disconnection. And this is important. A strong number is not a perfect number. Every path has a gift, and every gift casts a shadow. That is what makes this real. Life path 2 carries a very different frequency. This is the harmonizer, the bridge, the one who senses what is unspoken. If you are a 2, your power often lives in subtlety. You read rooms, you notice tone, you can feel tension before anyone names it. Your strengths are diplomacy, intuition, emotional intelligence, and deep relational awareness. You are often here to learn the sacred art of connection. But the shadow can be people-pleasing, indecision, oversensitivity, or losing your truth in the desire to keep peace. Your lesson is to honor your sensitivity as strength, while still letting your own voice exist inside the relationship. From power, we move into receptivity, and that contrast matters. Numerology is not a ranking. It is a spectrum of ways the soul learns to move. Life Path 3 is the creator, the expressive one. The storyteller, artist, performer, visionary, or natural encourager. If this is your number, words, beauty, humor, and emotional color may be central to your path. You often carry magnetism because your energy wants to move outward. Your strengths are creativity, communication, joy, and inspiration. You can lift a room simply by becoming more fully yourself. But the shadow of 3 is scattered focus, avoidance of pain, inconsistency, or performing instead of truly revealing. Your lesson is to give your gifts direction, to let expression become devotion, to create not just when you feel inspired, but because your voice matters. And creativity needs a container. That brings us to 4. Life Path 4 is the builder. Grounded, steady, reliable. If you are a 4, you are often here to understand the wisdom of structure. You may be the one who plans, organizes, follows through, and turns dreams into something real. Your strengths are discipline, loyalty, consistency, and responsibility. People often trust you because you carry a stabilizing presence. But the shadow of 4 is rigidity, overwork, control, or fear of uncertainty. Your lesson is to build strong foundations without becoming trapped inside them. To remember that structure should support life, not suffocate it. If you have not fully resonated yet, stay open. Sometimes your number describes who you are becoming just as much as who you have been. Some paths ripen with time. Life Path 5 is freedom, motion, change, experience. If this is your number, your soul often learns by movement. You may crave variety, adventure, travel, reinvention, or simply the feeling of being alive in the unknown. Your strengths are adaptability, charisma, courage, and the ability to pivot quickly when life changes. You can reinvent yourself faster than most people can understand what happened. But the shadow of 5 is restlessness, impulsiveness, excess, or running from depth in the name of freedom. Your lesson is to discover that true freedom is not chaos. It is choice. It is movement with awareness. It is adventure without self-abandonment. And freedom needs a center. That center appears in 6. Life Path 6 is the nurturer, the caretaker, the one who often feels responsible for the emotional atmosphere of a home, a family, a team, even a friendship. If you are a 6, love, beauty, service, and devotion may shape your life in a profound way. Your strengths are compassion, loyalty, responsibility, and a natural desire to protect what matters. You often know how to make people feel held, but the shadow of 6 is overgiving, rescuing, perfectionism, or tying your worth to being needed. Your lesson is boundaries. To love deeply without disappearing. To serve without self-erasure. To remember that care is sacred only when it includes you too. That is the difference between love and self-loss. And from there, we move into 7. Life Path 7 is the seeker, the mystic, the analyst. If this is your number, you are often drawn toward truth beneath appearances. You may need solitude to think, feel, study, pray, research, or simply hear yourself clearly. Your strengths are insight, discernment, depth, intuition, and the ability to notice patterns others miss. You are rarely satisfied by shallow answers. But the shadow of 7 is withdrawal, distrust, cynicism, or disappearing so far into the inner world that connection feels difficult. Your lesson is to let your depth become a bridge, not a wall. To trust that being understood is possible, even for you. Sometimes depth can look like distance. That does not mean the heart is absent. It often means the heart is protecting something very tender. Life Path 8 is power, mastery, material embodiment. If this is your number, you are often learning how to work with ambition, authority, money, influence, and responsibility. Your strengths are resilience, leadership, strategy, and the capacity to build tangible success. You can see systems, you can make decisions, you can carry pressure. But the shadow of 8 is control, workaholism, status obsession, or measuring worth only through external achievement. Your lesson is ethical power, to lead without domination, to create wealth without worshiping it, to remember that true success is not just what you accumulate, but what your power protects, elevates, and makes possible. And no number is better than another. A 2 is not less than an 8. A 7 is not more evolved than a 4. These are different classrooms, different sacred assignments. Take a breath here. Your number is not a trophy. It is not a warning. It is a pattern of becoming. Every path carries beauty. Every path carries work. And often the parts of your number that challenge you most are the very places where your soul is learning its deepest strength. Now we arrive at 9. Life path 9 is the humanitarian, the old soul, the one whose heart often stretches beyond the personal into the collective. If this is your number, you may feel deeply affected by suffering, injustice, beauty, art, and the emotional currents of the world. Your strengths are compassion, wisdom, generosity, forgiveness, and the ability to see the larger human story. There is often something timeless in you. But the shadow of 9 is grief, martyrdom, emotional exhaustion, or over-identifying with pain you cannot personally carry. Your lesson is release, to serve without drowning, to love without clinging, to honor endings as part of your path, not as proof that you failed. And now we step into the master numbers, where the energy intensifies. Not because these paths are superior, but because they often ask for greater consciousness, greater responsibility, and greater embodiment. Master numbers 11, 22, and 33 carry amplified frequency. You can think of them as heightened forms of development. More voltage, more sensitivity, more demand for alignment, and usually more pressure to mature the gift. But let me ground this clearly. Having a master number does not make life easier or make someone more spiritual by default. It usually means the lesson asks more of you in practical, daily, embodied ways. Master number 11 is the visionary, the intuitive channel. If this is your path, you may feel things before you can explain them. You may sense patterns, symbols, moods, or future possibilities with unusual clarity. Your strengths are intuition, inspiration, creativity, spiritual sensitivity, and the ability to awaken insight in others. But the shadow of 11 is anxiety, overwhelm, nervous system intensity, self-doubt, or feeling flooded by too much input. Your lesson is grounding the signal. Not just receiving truth, but learning how to live it calmly, clearly, and consistently. From insight, we move to building. Master number 22 is often called the master builder. This is vision with architecture, inspiration with execution. If this is your number, you may feel called toward work that has scale, legacy, and real-world impact. Your strengths are strategic thinking, discipline, leadership, and the rare ability to turn an enormous idea into practical form. You can hold the blueprint and the bricks at the same time. But the shadow of 22 is pressure, fear of failure, collapse under responsibility, or shrinking your vision because its size intimidates you. Your lesson is to trust your capacity slowly, to build what matters with patience, integrity, and endurance. And finally, 33. Master number 33 is the teacher healer, the heart-centered guide. If this is your path, service may feel deeply woven into your identity. You may be the one people confide in, learn from, soften around, or heal beside. Your strengths are compassion, wisdom, devotion, teaching, and an extraordinary capacity to hold love as a form of responsibility. But the shadow of 33 is saviorism, burnout, unrealistic ideals, or carrying everyone else's pain as if it were your assignment. Your lesson is sacred service without ego. To help, without controlling. To love, without martyrdom. To teach, from embodiment rather than image. So here is how I want you to hold your result. Your life path number is not the whole story of you. It does not replace your choices, your history, your healing, or your free will. It simply names a current that may already be moving through your life. Watch where it resonates. Watch where it challenges you. Watch where it describes a pattern you are only now beginning to understand. The most useful reading is not the one that flatters you. It is the one that helps you observe yourself more honestly, more gently, and more clearly. If you want to go deeper, subscribe and stay close. We explore this work with both intuition and clarity here. And if you want more personalized guidance, you can find deeper numerology and spiritual insight at controlmyfate.com. That is your next step if you are ready to move from curiosity into a more personal reading. Thank you for spending this time with me. Keep listening to your patterns. Keep honoring what rings true. Drop your big 3 in the comments, and I'll see you in the next reading.